Good evening and thank you for joining us. It's taken 4.5 months, but finally Vancouver police have recommended some serious charges in connection with the Stanley Cup riot. More than 160 charges in all involving 60 people. The youngest is 16, the oldest 52. And police say with more than 15,000 criminal acts identified in the video database, this is just the beginning. Our extensive coverage begins tonight with TANYA, BEJA.
They're the arrests British Columbians waited to see in the days following the Stanley Cup riot.
Just watch your head on the way in, eh?
Nearly 5 months later, Vancouver police say they're now ready to hold the suspects accountable.
We're going to go after as many people as we can to bring them to justice.
Investigators are recommending a total of 163 charges against 60 people for crimes ranging from arson to break and enter. Police say 1/3 of the suspects are from Surrey, a dozen from Vancouver, and the rest from around the Lower Mainland. Nearly 3/4 turned themselves in, but only confessed to a single crime, while video evidence suggested otherwise. One Vancouver Island man apologized for damaging a car. Investigators poured through the footage and within minutes linked him to several other crimes.
Mischief to 6 vehicles in a 2-block radius. He smashed a window with a borrowed skateboard. He assisted in flipping a car. He damaged the door of an unmarked police car, and he jumped on several vehicles. He also committed 3 break-and-enters to a coffee shop, a clothing store, and a department store.
The chaos following the Canucks' loss to Boston led to the largest investigation in Vancouver police history. It also hasn't come cheap. The province is paying $300,000 to work with a forensic lab in Indianapolis. Viewing the 5,000 hours of video takes time, but police aren't apologizing for any delays.
Over the past few months, there have been those who told us that our decision to be thorough was wrong. They urged us to rush cases to court. We believe the public expects more from the police, not cut corners to satisfy the vocal criticisms of a few.
Duty to inform you that you have the right to retain and instruct counsel.
Crown lawyers still have to review and approve the charges. Vancouver police say up to 700 more suspects could be arrested by the time the investigation is over.
What I did was dumb, and I have let my family and friends down, and I will face the consequences and take responsibility for my actions.
It was a tearful public apology, but it wasn't enough for the Vancouver police. Global News has learned the VPD is recommending charges of participating in a riot against 18-year-old Nathan KOTYLAK, who doesn't have a criminal record. The promising water polo Olympic hopeful has already lost his scholarship, and Water Polo Canada has banned him for 2 years. KOTYLAK is one of 50 men and 10 women the VPD is recommending charges against. The youngest is 16, the oldest 52, but police won't release any names. This picture of Mr. Whitebelt is the only piece of evidence investigators initially had.
In fact, when we questioned this man, he said he was just touching a dress on the mannequin, but he never took it. And that's all investigators had to go with.
But the simple fashion statement was all the video database needed to ID Mr. Whitebelt over and over again.
In about 15 seconds, a video popped up showing this suspect running down the street with a garment stolen from the department store in the 600 block Granville Street. He is then seen throwing the garment into a burning fire. Based on this video, the suspect will be facing charges for arson, break and enter, and participating in a riot.
Be better than this. Look at this. You're on camera. Smile.
After being outed online, many suspected rioters have already been sentenced to humiliation and lost jobs, even before a single criminal charge has been laid. Professional mountain biker Alex Prochaska was dropped by several sponsors after this picture went viral. Camille Cacneo, a UBC rower, was spotted in this video leaving black and Lee tuxedo with a pair of pants. She apologized, but the damage was already done. She was fired from Burrard Acura.
5 experienced prosecutors have been selected to handle the riot-related files, but there are still many questions about the length of the ongoing investigation and how long it may take to get the accused into a court system already desperately backlogged. So far this year, dozens of cases have been abandoned because of lengthy delays. And there's also the matter of sentencing and how tough the courts will be with those found guilty. More about the justice side of this story now from Ted Field.
Stacks and stacks of video evidence. That's what police investigators have been going through. Thousands of hours in labor, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost. But will people convicted of riot participation go to jail?
The criminal justice branch views all of the files as serious and will take a sentencing position that reflects the seriousness of the circumstances in relation to each particular individual who's ultimately charged.
Just the charge of participating in a riot carries a maximum 2 years. Arson, vandalism, theft, and other offenses could add more.
You know, the chances of a lot of these individuals going to prison, I think, is not very good. Certainly the most serious offenders where violence was involved, they have a long history. They're likely to see some jail time, but we're not talking about the majority of offenders that participated in this riot or allegedly did.
A straw poll on the Global Facebook page asked if people charged and convicted of riot involvement should go to jail. Of close to 600 people who responded, 95% said yes, only 5% no. But do people think the guilty will pay?
No, I don't. I have that little faith in justice.
Yeah, you don't think in the end anybody will pay substantially for this?
No.
Well, I hope they throw the book at them. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It's an embarrassment.
A big question, where would we put them?
Our jails are designed for a specific number, and like I said, we've been operating between 160 and 200% above capacity over the last 2 years, and it's a significant problem for us. So housing, 100 to 160 new prisoners would be problematic.
Legal experts say 2 years for riot participation is there if judges want to bring down the hammer, but it's doubtful they'll go that far.
You're not making any excuses for these folks, but you wouldn't want to see a 17-year-old's life ruined because of a moment of utter stupidity.
Another issue, will some of the hockey rioters still be in backed-up courts after some of the hockey players are retired?
Now, the president of Blenz Coffee is one of many who are pleased that the police have taken their time with the investigation. 3 downtown Blenz stores were damaged by looters and rioters. The president filed a lawsuit in June to seek compensation for lost revenue, property damage, and theft. And yet he's opposed to a rush to justice, saying a methodical approach will help ensure the guilty feel the full weight of the law. We have more on the retailer's reaction now from Brian COXFORD.
Hard to believe, but this retailer is still making repairs after looters trashed the store during the June 15th riot, causing thousands of dollars in damage. Several small businesses were victimized in this block at Richards and Georgia as the thugs terrorized shop owners.
And they were also throwing stuff from here, rocks and things, into the store. So had one of those rocks hit somebody, it could have killed them.
Yeah, right. Oh, that one's ours, Tony.
London Drugs was the epicenter for looting and terror that night. Damages and theft totaled $420,000. Several employees were trapped in the back room in fear of their lives, while thieves had a run of the store. So that's why the retail victims are happy to hear the news today. Police have prepared charges against 60 of the worst rioters.
I guess feeling good's a wrong way to describe it. You know, this is a moment of sadness for Vancouver. We need to deal with it. We need to have a teaching moment for those that didn't act appropriately. We need to put that lesson out there so it doesn't happen again.
Although it's taken 4 months to move from what we saw on television that night to identifying charges, a restaurant owner who had his business vandalized says as long as there's justice, he doesn't mind the wait.
Even if I have to wait 1 more month or 2 months, it doesn't matter. As long as they charge them, we'll be fine, you know.
Yeah. And you get justice.
Exactly.
I want everybody that participated in doing something wrong to be charged, whether it's 60, whether it's 100, whether it's 1,000. I don't care, and I don't care how long it takes, but I want every one of those people brought to justice so the next time some idiot decides that they want to do trash a city, that there are consequences. And that's one of the reasons why behind our civil suit, primarily to protect our franchise partner. The next time you go after one of our stores, we're going to go after you.
These 2 individuals here, these are the 2, him and him. That's out of our store. That's on the police site, yeah. But those are the 2 that we want to identify.
Once the police lay their charges and identify the thugs, both Blenz and London Drugs hope to put names to the pictures on their cameras and lay their own civil charges to recover costs.